Alright, good morning everyone, it's me, Ribery, back again with stories from Sol the Gandog. Last time, the ship went offline because of, I don't know what causes it, but we've played this. We've actually been recording this for the last 20 minutes, but then a real power outage came to my house, for real, for real.
For real, for real? Not only in game, for real, for real.
Or the recording was corrupted, so we need to retake it. I'm changing the color scheme to Dojin mode again now. I just keep exchanging back and forth between Vivid and Dojin, I guess. You search blindly for a few seconds until your hand meets her shoulder and you move towards her. Cassie, hey! Cassie, say something! Cassie! In there, Cassie. Lieutenant Lord, call sickbay and get the doctor up here right now.
I can't.
Why not?
The ship's entire system has been knocked offline, even the emergency backup systems. It's all offline.
No. My fingers moved on its own. You rise quickly and dash over to the elevator, slamming your hand into the call button. I'm going to take Casey down to the sickbay. You can... Aside from your voice, the whole room remains totally silent. Most conspicuously absent from though is the whirring of the elevator that would take you directly to the sickbay. You rapidly press the call button in frustration.
Idiot, what part of offline do you not understand? Queen's not going anywhere until at least the backup systems are online, but that can't be done from the bridge.
What do you mean? How do we get them back online then?
It's an emergency fail-safe. If there's a critical failure with the central computer and it can't function properly, then the entire ship will be shut down. Then it enters a lockdown mode until it can be rebooted. All areas are sealed in case the shutdown is the result of enemy action. The main computer of engineering needs to be physically rebooted to restore any sort of access. Of course, since this is a security system, you should know all this.
You grit your teeth to stop yourself snapping back at Vanessa. In the heat of the moment, all thought of process and procedure had left you completely. All you had been thinking about was getting Cassie to sickbay. Placing your head in your hand to pinch the bridge of your nose and try to focus. That's right, but isn't the order of to reboot the central computer given from the bridge in that situation? Why did you say we can't?
Two reasons. First of all, the lockdown shouldn't affect backup systems. But for some reason, everything seems like it's offline, which means there's no internal communication system right now. Secondly, if we did have the internal communication system, access to the central computer requires input codes which are known only by the captain. Or, in the event the captain is incapacitated, the second in command...
Vanessa turns to look at Cassandra, who sighs slightly. As she continues to talk, you head back to Cassie, kneeling beside her and placing her in the recovery position. Feeling the cold steel off the floor as you turn Cassie over, you take off your uniform jacket and lay it over her.
Which currently would be Lieutenant Commander Queen. Meaning that right now, both of the people who know the necessary information to get the ship back up and running area out of action.
There's no area. There's got to be some way around this.
Weren't you listening? This isn't supposed to happen. We should at least have the backup systems in place.
Okay, in the past recording I said, no, there should be something we can do.
Without them, there's nothing we can do except sit around and wait for the air to run out. Yeah, just wait until we die.
What about O'Brien? Can you contact them for support?
Everything is offline. What part of this are you not getting?
As you kneel over Cassie, your mind races through what Vanessa has just told you. You know that she's right, and that all the ship's emergency action plans revolve around the backup system being operational. And without them online, there's next to nothing that can be done within the ship. Your mind catches on that point for a moment, and you can't help but wonder whether whoever wrote that plan was optimistic enough that they couldn't see a situation where the backups fail, or whether they were so pessimistic they felt if those systems were out of commission, there was no real hope for the crew either. Pushing that thought out of your head, you desperately try to figure out a way to get Cassie to the sickbay. There's got to be something you know about the ship that would help. In all your time you've spent working as a security officer, there's got to be something that you've picked up that would. Oh yeah, the air fans. That was what I said on the past recording.
Yeah! The airplane! Yeah!
That's it! In the crew quarters, the panels by the bunks can be removed and replaced. People use the space in the structure to hide contraband.
What are you talking about?
The ship's maintenance crawlways are accessed in the same way. If I'm right, you head back over the elevators, but this time instead of trying to call them, you begin to run your hands over the seams in the wall panels on either side. Eventually, you notice a gap a few inches in length. Normally, a maintenance would have a special tool to access this, but you can do the same thing with the access card. Taking your ID card out of your pocket, you slide it into the gap in the seam until it meets some resistance. When it's about halfway in, you slide it up and down a few times until you feel it stick on something, at which point you push harder. Suddenly you hear the sound of multiple catches disengaging and the panel falls towards you. Taking the fall panel taking the wall panel in both hands, you place it to the side of it where it used to be attached. Now, instead of solid wall, you can just about to make out an absence large enough for someone to fit inside, with a series of rungs heading downwards into a darkness which opens up once they pass by where the elevator currently sits.
How did you know how to do this?
I look for a clue on my nails. This is one of the first tricks you learn as a security officer. Ship crews get very creative with where they stash things. With these panels, it makes sense that the maintenance crawlways are accessed in a similar way.
Well, great. Now you can crawl around the walls in the dark. Very helpful.
Water is very good. You grit your teeth and breath. You hadn't talked to Vanessa.
You do exactly the same like before.
You hadn't talked to Vanessa much since you first met, but you were now beginning to understand why she always ate alone in the mess hall. And then I laughed at her. This thing. You don't have friends. If I can get an up here, it means that I can get out down the central hub. From there, I can see if I can get the emergency input codes from the captain and make contact with the chief in engineering.
Do you really think you can solve this by clambering around inside the walls? Even if you can make it to the control hub, the rest of the ship will...
Little Lord, would you shut up?
Shut up!
Although the sudden outage of the ship system, as well as the failure of all the backups, was stressful enough, you felt on some level that you'd be able to handle it. Just a mechanical failure, something that Chief was probably working on at this very moment. What you couldn't deal with was Vanessa's attitude. I get it, alright, I get it. Everything's offline, Mrs. Receive, loud and clear. But I'm not going to sit around and do nothing but listen to you whine when everyone on the ship is counting on me to do something. Not this time. Vanessa's mouth hangs open in shock as she tries to stammer out a response, but you quickly cut her off. Now I'm going to leave you here and get this fixed. You can either sit there and wait for the air to run out, or get your head out of your ass and start helping. Vanessa continues to gape at you in disbelief, completely taken aback by your outburst.
Alright, you do that. I'll try to get the internal communication system working. Since the backup should work in a situation like this, maybe there's a way to get them back online. Get moving, or are you going to stand around and gawk, whistle, I get everything done myself?
Gawk, gawk, gawk.
Well,
You inadvertently sigh loudly as you turn around and reach out into the crawl space, grabbing a rung and then placing your foot on one lower down. Hopefully I can get things back online with the chief and the captain's help. Just look after Lieutenant Commander Quinn until then, alright? Vanessa turns away from you, continuing to adjust the inputs on the communication system.
Yeah, sure.
With that, you lower yourself into the darkness, taking it one rung at a time. Once you are past the stationary elevator, you can feel the space you're in open up around you. Carrying on downwards, you reach behind you every so often to see if you can feel the catch system that would keep an access panel attached. After a few attempts to find it, your fingers eventually brush over a catch, and with some coercion, you manage to get it to release, causing the whole panel to fall off the wall behind you and clatter on the floor of the central hub. You step out the crawlway, a loud banging starts from nearby. You immediately reorientate yourself to face the room, placing your hand on your electroshock weapon just in case. As you scan the room in the dim lighting, the banging continues, and you realize it's not coming from anywhere in the central hub but one of the elevators. With your hand still hovering over your weapons, you slowly move towards the noise, trying to make as little sound as possible, hoping that whoever or whatever is making it doesn't know you were there. Despite the darkness, you can see that the elevator doors are open slightly with an inch or so gap between the two doors. As you angle yourself to try to see what's inside, your question is answered. Hey, who's there? Whoever you are, help me get the stupid doors open. Whole thing's jammed. You pause for a moment. You haven't seen Hansen since the other day outside your quarters. I know you're out there. I heard you. Get over here and help me get this door open, huh? Hey, what are you waiting around for? As Hansen continues to call out, you size up the situation. With the darkness of the room, you could easily come and go without him being able to tell that it's you. On top of that, it's unlikely that he'll be able to force open the elevator doors on his own. Hey, come on! This isn't funny! Who's out there? Stop jerking me around! It's petty, but part of you almost relishes the idea of Hansen seeing how it feels to be trapped and unable to do anything. Haru, if you're messing with me, I'll kick your ass! Still, he's a member of the crew, and as a security officer, it's your role to keep them all safe, regardless of how much a dick they might be. You take a deep breath and help him open the doors. Hold it for... oh yeah, because we're a nice guy. That's what I said. Hold it for a second before releasing one long constant sigh. Hey, I heard you. I know you're there. Get me out! Alright, Ensign. I'll take the door on the right, you take the door on the left. On the count of 3, we'll pull. Great! Everyone on board, and it's the Kalai coward. Figured you'd stop by here. Find a nice little space to crawl up and hide in. Helping me out so we can trade places. You can ride it out until the action's over. You immediately begin to regret your decision. Chris, do you want to get out of here or not? Yeah, come on! Right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3! The two of you both heave against the elevator's doors, which shift slightly as you continue to pull against it. A pain shoots up through your side from where Hansen landed a blow the other day. What's the matter with you? It's nothing. Come on again. Grit your teeth as you both make another attempt to move the doors. They slide open a little bit further, but still not quite enough for Hansen to get his whole body out. Oh, I thought for a second that maybe after that fight you put up the other day you were stronger than I gave you credit for, but it looks like I was wrong. Oh yeah? Is that right? Funny that you're just as weak as I remember you being. Silence hangs between the two of you for a moment, and through the darkness you can't tell whether Hansen is smirking or sneering. Anyway, come on, one more time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3! It takes the two of you a few attempts, but finally you manage to push the door open to the point where Hansen can make his way through the gap between the two of them. Hello there, Johnny Bravo! Free of elevator, Hansen dusts himself down and looks around whilst adjusting his jacket. So what the hell is going on? What's happened to the ship? Why's everything stopped working? There should be backup or something, right? You pause for a moment. Despite having been on the bridge when everything went wrong, you probably have as much of an idea as Hansen would. Honestly, we've got no idea. I was on the bridge when it all happened. We made contact with O'Brien. There was this flash. Then Commander Quinn, Cass, had been knocked out. All the systems were offline, even the backups. I managed to get off the bridge using the maintenance crawlway. Now we're trying to figure out a way to reboot the computer to get everything back online. Just great. I knew the ship was a piece of junk the moment I stepped on board. You said you guys had a plan to get things up and running, huh? Yeah, kinda. Great. You can handle that. I'm gonna check on the crew. Have you seen Haru? No, I haven't run to them. Okay then, I'll try the quarters. With that, Hansen heads into the darkness towards the foreside thoroughfare. He stops briefly, turning to face you. Oh, Lieutenant. Thanks, or whatever.
Pilot you could say thanks?
The pilot quickly turns on his heels and disappears into the darkness. Don't mention it. Okay, where should we be going? To the chief, probably? Should we go to chief? Let's see, where's the chief? This way.
Chief, are you alright? Are you still alive?
You leave the central hub and enter the long corridor that comprises the aft thoroughfare. The first thing you notice is the sound of your step on the metal flooring ringing out and echoing down the corridor. Normally the vibration from the engines would dull this noise and it would be barely perceptible over their low and steady rumble. It got to the point where you didn't even notice the constant noise at this end of the ship. But now that the corridor is silent, its absence hits you. Oh yeah, the engine isn't running. Move. Engineering. At the end of the aft thoroughfare, where the corridor would normally transition from corridor into the engineering department, instead you were met with a substantial glass door with the word engineering stenciled onto it. You run your hand over the surface before rapping on it with your knuckles. Other than the low ring, which would indicate it being relatively thin, this door returned a higher pitched noise, indicating that it's significantly thicker than normal. Isn't it the other way around? Unlike the rest of the doors on this ship, which are designed as entrance and exits, you can tell that this one exists more to block one section off from the other. You instantly dismiss any thoughts of forcing it open. It's likely that even the contents of the armory couldn't shift it. After a minute or two fruitlessly inspecting it, you shrug to yourself. The only thing you can do right now is hope that the chief is nearby. Hey, Chief! Pound on the door with your fist, hoping that the sound makes its way through. Chief! Can you hear me? You continue to pound on the door and yell, stopping every so often to hear if there's any kind of response. Chief! I'm out here! Chief! Hey! After a few minutes worth of attempting to make contact, you stop and flex the fingers on your right hand, cracking your knuckles to try and dismiss the discomfort. Given the size of the engineering department, you begin to think about how close the chief would need to be to even hear you, and the odds of that happening. Before you can resume your attempts though, you hear a dull, repetitive thudding coming from the other side. Is that the thudding? Very musical.
Yeah, I thought it was a
music. Chief, can you hear me? I'm out here! You call, pressing your ear up to the blast door to see if you can hear an answer. Instead, you just hear the same dull, repetitive thudding. At first, it seems random and erratic, but the longer you listen, you begin to realize there's a pattern. That's great, but what does it mean? Oh, it's a Morse code! In defeat, you slam your fist against the door one more time. Chief, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'll try to find a way to get in there with you. At least I know someone is there. There's gotta be some way I can get in touch with them. Send them a signal. Maybe there's something I haven't thought of yet. An emergency communication system? Something that's not tied to the ship. Think! Something that's not tied to the ship? Oh, what about if we use the armored frame?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go to the hangar then. Where's the hangar? Double-sized door that makes up the entrance to hangar remains steadfastly closed despite your best efforts. Although the terminal to their side is dead, just like all the others, you had attempt to open the double doors through brute force, since the hangar seemed like your best bet to access some helpful equipment. The hat, however, remained inert against your efforts to pry them open using your own strength. Unsurprising but frustrating. Even if I managed to get these doors open, there'd be another set waiting for me at the bottom of the staircase. It should be way harder in low gravity. You pause for a moment, thinking, but can't think of any way around it. Let's try somewhere else. No. Okay, what about the captain's room? Standing in front of the door to Captain Bartholomew's quarter, you instinctively straighten up, sticking your chest out and your shoulders back. You know that your access card doesn't have the encoded permission to allow you access the captain's quarter, and even if it did, the terminal to the side of the door is as lifeless as the rest of the ship. Then you bang forcefully on the captain's door and shout, "Captain Bartholomew, it's Lieutenant Uchiha! There's been a system failure and Commander Quinn is incapacitated! We need you to give the emergency input codes to restart the ship's central computer." After waiting for a few moments, you press your ear up against the door, seeing if you can hear any signs of life. From experience, you know that the crew quarters doors aren't as substantial as some of the other doors on the ship. It's not uncommon to know the exact schedules of other crew members based on sound alone. "Captain, it's an emergency!" You wait a little while longer, but still don't hear anything. Damn it! Slamming your fist on the captain's door in frustration, you turn back. You'll have to figure something else out. Where to go? Oh, bruh. Dylan? Like everywhere else on the ship so far, you're met with an unresponsive terminal and a shut door. You know not to expect much, but you try anyway, knocking the door and calling out, "Hey, Gunner Dees, can you hear me?" You wait for a response, but don't feel particularly worried when one doesn't come. Knowing Dylan, he's probably not realized anything has happened.
Oh no.
I don't think it would be much help if he could hear me. At least someone's probably having a good time during all this. Where to go then? The airlock? As you enter, the airlock hatch door looms large in the darkness. A shiver runs through you and you rub your forearms. Wasn't something you'd notice until now, but as you feel the goosebumps that cover your skin, you realize that the ship's temperature has now dropped noticeably. You've got to find a way to get things up and running again. Emergency spacesuits for an event of ship depressurization, failure with the life support system, or if the crew have abandoned the ship. Hopefully I can get this solved without needing the extra air supply. Just change the batteries on these to make sure the radios would work in an emergency. I wonder if any of the other radios on board will pick up the signal.
Okay, should we just catch the...
I bet that's what the
No?
chief was trying to tell me. Of course she would come with a plan like this before anyone else. Now let's see if I can reach her. Grab the handle on the suit's container and twist. The metal in your hand is noticeably colder to the touch that it was the last time you were here. Once the lock is undone, you open the door and, bracing the suit with your left hand, grab the radio with your right. As you disconnect the radio unit from the breast panel, the spiraling plastic card that connects it to the suit comes with it. This is too detailed! You don't need to steal all of this! This is a novel! This isn't a novel! This is a visual novel, the game! Turning the radio in your hand, you find where the cord connects and unscrew that attachment point, allowing the cable to spring back towards the suit. You quickly extend. Oh my god, too much.
Maybe the writer was an engineer, so it just described everything, pull everything there.
You quickly extend the telescoping antenna and flick the power switch, which causes the sound of whining static to fill the previously silent room. Slowly rotate the turning dial, working your way through the frequencies until a familiar voice comes out from the tiny speaker. It's Chief.
An emergency broadcast from Chief Engineer Mackenzie Katai from GFS Gandok to any GFS Gandok crew members or any GFS ships nearby. GCF.
Still the same. Still the same.
The Gandok was suffered a complete system failure and assistance is needed to get them back online. I repeat, this is an emergency broadcast from Chief Engineer Mackenzie Katais on the GFS Gandok to any GFS Gandok crew members or any GCF ships nearby. The Gandok has suffered a complete systems failure and assistance is needed to get them back online.
Chief, this is Lieutenant Uchiha reading you loud and clear. I managed to get an emergency radio from one of the suits in the airlock. I'm able to get around the thoroughfares and through the bridge, but I can't get anywhere else.
It took you long enough. What the hell's everyone been doing this whole time?
You're just about to push the button to send your response, but the chief cuts in.
Anyway, you're in touch now. That's what counts. You said you could get to the bridge, is that right?
That's right.
Then get back up there and get the captain to give me the input codes to access the main computer so that I can get the ships running again.
Slight complication, Chief. The captain's taken sick. She's not on the bridge.
Classic Bartholomews. Then get back up there and get Lieutenant Commander Quinn to give me the input codes.
She's out of commission too. She collapsed at the same time the ship's power went out. You release your thumb, allowing the chief to broadcast, but where you expected a swiftly delivered alternative, all you get is radio static. Chief?
Nothing's ever easy, huh, Lieutenant? Who's currently on the bridge then?
There'll be Lieutenant Lord.
Well, she's the commanding officer on board right now, I guess. You're going to want to get up there. I've got an idea, but it's not something I can authorize.
Your grip on the radio tightens as a sense of apprehension grows within you. You don't know what the chief has in mind, but if it requires the authority of the ship's senior officer, you know that it's got to be something dangerous. Realizing you've been holding your breath since Chief's last message, you breathe out and push the button on the radio side to send your message. Sorry, Chief. Copy that, Chief. Heading up there now. Radio in hand, you quickly make your way back from the airlock into the central hub and then head straight for the maintenance crawlway. It only takes you a moment of groping around in the darkness to find a ladder rung before you're on your way back up to the bridge. As you climb, each rung that you grip is cool to the touch, and the air that you breathe has a brisk chill to it. You know what this means, but for the time being decide to push that thought off your head. You've got other things to focus on. The climb up seems a lot shorter than your original climb down, and you soon emerge back on the bridge. Vanessa swivels in her chair and paces over to you.
So did you get in touch with anyone?
Kind of. You bring the radio up to your face so that the microphone is level with your mouth and press the push to talk button with your thumb. Chief, I'm back on the bridge with Lieutenant Lord. Releasing the button, you walk past Vanessa and handing the radio over to her before heading towards Cassie. Vanessa looks from you to the radio with mild bewilderment before the chief's voice sounds out from the speaker.
Lieutenant Lord, this is Chief Engineer Katais. Do you read?
As you kneel down by Cassie to check her pulse and temperature, as well as doing your best to tuck your jacket around her, the way the chief addressed Vanessa catches your attention. You hadn't heard the chief being that differential towards anyone, even the captain.
I hear you, Chief Katais. Captain Bartholomews and Commander Queen are both incapacitated, so I'm in command of the Gandok until such a time as they can return to duty. Understood?
You frown slightly hearing Vanessa assert her position over the chief like that. Although she's the ranking officer in this situation, you had not heard anyone on board pull rank in that way, especially on the chief, who you were under the impression enjoyed the respect of everyone on board, including Hansen and Haru.
Yes, ma'am. Good. Now, have you got a plan, Chief Katais, or has Lieutenant Uchiha brought me this radio so we can have a chat about how nothing's working in your end either? On your end either?
Stop being. She is so pessimistic. Oh my god. As you stand and turn to face Vanessa, you catch the last few moments of a distasteful look she had been making at you, whilst your back was turned, and do your best to bite your tongue.
Yes, ma'am. Lieutenant Uchiha has explained to me that both the captain and Commander Queen are out of action. So I'm aware neither one of them will be able to give me the input codes required to reactivate the central computer. We know that, Ketais. What's the solution? The only hope we've got right now is that the captain has copies of documents that contain the access codes in her quarters. If someone can get in there, then they can get the codes and tell them to me, letting me reactivate the ship systems. If we'd been able to get into the captain's quarters, we have done that already. The whole ship is locked down and there's no way to get in there.
Notice the slightest pause before the chief responds. You could be projecting, but you get the impression that she's just as fed up as you are.
Not quite, ma'am. Although all the terminals and most of the hardware on the ship is dependent on the central computer, we've got a tool that we use when someone needs to be disconnected from the system. We use it for maintenance or debugging, the PST or portable sub-terminal. It's effectively a standalone power pack with a microcomputer built in that provides enough power to activate the hardware attached to the terminal. It's let us get into the captain quarter and then from there we can get the codes to start the computer back up. So where is this PST? It's in the hangar. We can't get in the hangar either. I know you're stuck in engineering, Candice, but the story is the same for the entire ship.
Another silence follows, longer this time.
That's true, if you're trying to get the hangar from inside the ship, ma'am. But the gun dock has two entrances that can be activated entirely manually. The main onboarding airlock and the hangar.
Let's go! We're going outside!
Yeah! If someone left the ship via the onboarding airlock, they could make their way to the crew airlock for the hangar and re-enter there. Then they could get in PST and make their way through the ship as normal. I see. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chief Engineer Cat Eyes, but aren't yourself and Cadet Grange the only crew on board qualified for extra vehicular activity in space? Ay. And you're currently stuck in engineering wells. We can't get in contact with Cadet Grange to just bring us to PST. Yes, ma'am.
You begin to feel a knot in your gut and internally curse at Dalton for not having picked up enough of the chief's know-how to have found an emergency radio of his own.
And policy dictates that all EVA needs to be commanded by an operations officer.
The knot in your stomach tightens as you take a deep breath in. Vanessa's eyes are now locked on you.
Yes, ma'am.
Slightest hint of a smile forms on Vanessa's face.
Well, Lieutenant, it looks like you're going for a walk. Let's go!
You'd seen this coming as soon as the chief has begun outlining the plan, but you've been hoping that there'll be some extra part that hadn't been revealed yet. Something that would allow you to stay on board. You know, why do we ask Hansen to go outside? Faced with Vanessa's directness, the knot in your stomach
Hansen also able!
further. A sense of nausea rises from your gut. Fine. Some people took well to spacewalks. Some even enjoyed them so much that they would take on careers in colony construction and repair where they would spend more time in the vacuum of space than they did inside the colony or on ships. You were not one of those people. You only ever left the confines of a ship or colony a few times in your life, and almost all of those had been evacuation drills that you had been through in school or during citizenry courses. On every occasion that you could remember, you had reacted badly, but managed to keep it to yourself. Something about being out in the wind, in the void, an attachment clip or handrail away from drifting off into the endless nothingness of space had always filled you with dread. And knowledge that you were a slip away from disappearing forever, irretrievable and helpless. But despite all that, you knew full well from Vanessa's discussion with the chief that there was not going to be any way around doing this, and right now, you're the ship's, Cassie's only hope. As much as you hate... What the heck?
What is wrong?
I got a notification of stream Twitch following. I forgot to turn that off. Oh my god, I got I got a notification again.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the follow, Nixie.
Nixie.
Yes. As much as you hated the thought of it, you pushed back against the fear that had been rising up inside you. Taking a deep breath, you resigned yourself to what you had to do. Fine, I'll do it. The chief can walk me through everything that I need to know on my way to the airlock.
The dashing security officer diving headfirst into danger. Isn't he great, Lieutenant Commander Quinn? So selfless.
Vanessa rolls her eye, covering her mouth with the back of her hand and putting on a mocking tone.
Oh, my hero, so brave going into space to save us. Only you can.
You snap the radio off Vanessa and turn your back on her, heading towards the maintenance crawlway. At this point, you've had just about all you can take of her, so the sooner the situation is resolved, you decide the sooner you can go back to avoiding her.
Oh, quit making a big deal of this with all your huffing and puffing, Lieutenant Uchiha. From what I've heard, hanging out in space is something of a pastime of yours. Hansel also same like me. Oh no.
With that command, you feel like your hearts drop out of your chest. You quickly spin back to face Vanessa.
Flashback. Lieutenant?
Writhing in the flash of anger you just felt, you silently shake your head as you turn back around and grab the hold of the first rung of the crawlway's ladder. Chief, I'm on my way to airlock now. Walk me through what I need to know.
Wait!
With one hand still on the ladder's rung, you pause and turn around. Yes, Lieutenant Lord? You're just about to manage to ask through gritted teeth.
Don't you think you're forgetting something?
Doing your best to suppress the urge to scream that you can feel building inside your chest, you pause for a moment and stare at Lieutenant Lord, trying to puzzle out what kind of mind game she's playing. Lieutenant Lord, if there's... Before you finish, Vanessa rolls her eye and turns on her heels, walking back over to Cassandra and squatting down. You almost yell out when Vanessa lays her hand on Cassie's hip, but you stop when you see her withdraw a keycard from Cassie's skirt pocket. Holding it between her thumb and forefinger, with a flourish, she waves it at you as she stands up and walks back over to you.
The central computer can only be accessed by the captain or members of operations. Good luck getting in there without this.
Vanessa casually tosses you the card, which you grab out of the air. You got Cassandra's keycard. Anyway, that is all for today's video. We're heading out to the space in 2 days. See you guys later and stay warm. I don't know. Bye bye.